Spectrum News anchor, Dr. Nicole Cross. She's also a psychotherapist. Dr. Cross, we're hearing how hard it is to watch this video. I can only imagine. Talk about the emotional and the psychological impacts this video will have on people.
Absolutely, Sharon. Witnessing police violence directly or indirectly can have a negative impact on our mental health. After viewing it, we tend to feel empathy for the person who endured it and also think, what if that was me or my loved one? It can affect us in many different ways. So cognitively, people may have difficulty concentrating, remembering, or focusing. Behaviorally, they may begin to even self-medicate through substance misuse. Relationally, people may demonstrate distrust of their own or other racial groups. And spiritually, people may question their faith in God, humanity, or both, Sharon.
And how about talking to our kids about the police brutality that they're hearing about? I know even sometimes my children say they don't always feel safe when they see an officer, which is a horrible thing to hear.
It's unfortunate because the goal of law enforcement is to protect us, right? That's the goal. That's in our psyche. That's our understanding. But decades of research documents the importance of racial and ethnic socialization. So for many parents of color, having the quote unquote racial talk is a natural progression of parenting a child in America. But for all of us, these conversations can be difficult for both the parent and the child. So the first thing parents want to do is recognize their own views on racial issues, where they stand, what they believe. Second, be prepared to manage your emotions and help your child cope. Children often tend to pick up on the behaviors their parents exhibit, so it's important to model effective ways of coping. And finally, use activities, books, and movies to talk about racial differences.
Dr. Cross, let's talk about police brutality and race relations. How do those two go hand in hand?
They absolutely do, Sharon. You know, after all the attention the Black Lives Matter-led racial justice movement generated after George Floyd's death in 2020, new data shows the number of black people killed by police has actually increased over the last few years. So I did some digging and found that about 1,000 people are killed each year by law enforcement officers in the U.S. By one estimate, black men are 2.5 times more likely than white men to be killed by police during their lifetime. Black people, who account for 13% of the U.S. population, accounted for 27% of those fatally shot and killed by police in 2021. That's coming from the Mapping Police Violence. Sharing the disturbing frequency of these events is taking a real emotional toll on the mental health of Black Americans. Many tell me they feel hurt, enraged, dehumanized, and humiliated, wondering if their life truly does matter. It is a lonely and very isolating feeling, but you do not have to suffer in silence. For those impacted by racial trauma, healing can come from counseling, spirituality, seeking justice, and social support, Sharon.
Dr. Cross, where do we go from here? How do police rebuild the trust in the communities that they serve?
You know, Sharon, police departments across the country are issuing statements expressing sadness over the death of Tyre Nichols and reassuring the public that those officers don't represent the values of their police force. But is that message ringing true? Many people feel a great sense of distrust for police in America. The path forward is to work to rebuild a sense of trust between police officers and the communities they pledge to protect and serve. An August 2020 Gallup poll revealed a 5-point drop in public confidence in law enforcement, bringing it to 48%, the lowest rate in 27 years, Sharon. Transformation of police departments and their relationship to our communities require a change in culture, accountability, training, policies, and practices. It also requires strong leadership and transparency. Now, to build trust, there must be consequences, and the public must have information, something the Nichols family has been seeking for weeks. In terms of accountability, local police departments need to create strong, community-centered accountability systems and improve use of force policies. Also, law enforcement should be required to go through racial bias training and take steps to build skills in problem solving, conflict mediation, and de-escalation tactics. More training should also focus on anti-racism, implicit bias, mental illness, and age-appropriate responses, Sharon.